There was always one vital thing missing in our kitchen, and one thing that has eluded me in my short career of woodworking. I've made cornhole boards, cooler tables, surfboard holder, hell, I've even made a light-up beer pong table. But today, I attempt to make an elusive cutting board. Starting this project off right, I took some leftover cardboard and attempted to make a rough template I'd use to mix and match pieces of maple, cherry, and walnut. I wanted to section the cardboard into 1-inch increments, making it easier to rip the pieces of wood down on the table saw. I drew a rough pattern that looked pretty different from conventional cutting boards, making sure I added various widths that would add texture to the board. After labeling the various lengths and widths, I was then able to cut the pieces on my miter saw, playing as I went. I ripped down multiple pieces of maple, cherry, and walnut that I'm really hoping is food safe. We'll see. Once all the blocks were cut, I was then able to take the pieces over to the template and dry fit them the best I could. This board was going to require multiple glue ups. I decided to glue the middle section first and work all the other pieces around this middle section. After waiting 24 hours, it was time to undo the clamps and take the middle section out. I dry fitted the walnut and maple and glued all the pieces into one last glue up. I had to really pay attention because the pieces wanted to constantly come up, making the top of the board unlevel. I decided at the last second to add these sacrificial wood pieces that would help disperse the pressure of the clamps a bit better. You can never have too many clamps, and I definitely learned this here. Taking the cutting board over to the table saw, I wanted to put somewhat of a clean cut here. I really wish I had a crosscut sled. I ran the board through the planer, making sure I took 1/8 of an inch off at a time. The planer serves the purpose of flattening the uneven wood as well as smooths out the rough surfaces. For aesthetic purposes, I cropped all 4 sides on the miter saw. Adding a chamfer bit to the end of the router, I went all the way around the board to give it a cleaner look. You could easily round it over with a sander or keep it 90 degrees if you really wanted to. I started sanding the board down first with 120 grit, then working my way up to 220. I probably should have gone higher in grit, but all I had at the time was 220. It still had a silky smooth finish when I was done with it. Now here's the part everyone loves sticking around for. I watched many a cutting board video in hopes to see that oily goodness of a freshly sanded board receiving her fair share of oily nirvana. As I oil this board, I want to ask you to subscribe and smash that like button. It helps me get you all great content each week and send my dog to college. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.